Okay, let's go ahead and call the October meeting of the Fauldon County Quorum Court to order. If you would, at this time, I'd like to invite Miss Bella Rose Heath to the microphone. She's going to lead us in both invocation and pledge. She is one of our esteemed 4-H students, and we appreciate her and her leadership, her willingness to come here and lead us in invocation and pledge. So if you go ahead and stand with us.
Dear Lord, I thank you for bringing everyone here today safely, and I thank you for getting everyone to gather here today and help everyone get home safely. And dear Lord, I say your name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Thank you so much, Ms. Heath. Madam Secretary, can we have the roll call, please?
Yes, Your Honor. Allison.
Here.
Coates.
Present.
Kendricks.
Here.
Knight.
Here.
Lahosky.
Here.
Lyon.
Here.
Meeks.
Here.
Moss.
Here.
Pearson. Schock.
Here.
Strain. Tyler.
Here.
Yorgi. Here.
All right, for the record, we do have a quorum. Members of the court, next on our agenda, approval of the journal. That's tab number 1. I trust you've taken an opportunity to review that. I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve the journal.
Second.
Got a motion second. Any additions or changes or deletions? Hearing none, all in favor of approval as presented indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Journal will be approved. Next item on the agenda, County Officer's Report. Tab number 2, the first report is the Treasurer's Report. Mr. Treasurer, Scott Sampson.
Summary statement for Quorum Court, January 1st, 2025 through September 30th, 2025. County General Fund 1,000, $4,092,074.80. County Road Sales Tax Fund 2,000, $8,954,222.04. County Road Sales Tax Fund 3402, $4,435,377.25. Animal Welfare and Control Fund 3404, $1,492,635.83. Criminal Justice Sales Tax Fund 3407, $2,129,330.46. Coronavirus Relief Fund 1005, $997,573.97. American Rescue Plan Fund 3046, $2,277,062.18. ARP Revenue Replacement Fund 1006, $5,700,149.09. Turning to page 2, County General Revenue. We're currently about $1.4 million above last year. We've spoken about this a number of times with the extra money that come in from last year for jail reimbursement. We'll turn on to page 3. Sales tax for September is $1,288,924.73. That's 8.04% higher than September. It leaves us at 0.16 below the 2024 running total. Page 4. Total sales tax collected for the year is $11,116,540.22. That's 78% projected through 70%. Puts us above projections. And if you'll turn me to page 5, you see that the 3-month moving average has moved above the 1-year moving average and moving upward. So that is my report. Are there any questions?
Seeing none, thank you, Mr. Treasurer. Next report we have is the Statement of Operations, the Sheriff's Report. Chief Deputy, I don't see the Chief Deputy or the Sheriff. They may be at the Justice Building.
Judge, they forwarded an email about a week ago, so that I think that might have been their intent, not having someone here tonight. Possibly. I don't know that, but.
Yeah. Any questions about that report? I saw that. I didn't see anything out of the ordinary. So next, we will move to, and I would invite you, if you've got any questions, you could just reach out to the sheriff. Next report would be the statement of operations, at least in terms of the order in your booklet there. As usual, it's there. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Probably first to Margaret, our county clerk. County Administrator's Report. Mr. Anderson, or excuse me, Mr. Higgins.
Thank you, Your Honor. Just a couple of quick updates. Obviously, actually today, we finished the courthouse project, so we'll be able to move on from there. The jail project was supposed to bid today, but I was notified late last week. We're still having some data issues, not with Conway Court, but getting some of the power calculations in so that we can bid that. So we postponed the bid probably to a week after next. Everything else is on track, but we're wanting to bid it as soon as possible. But we really wanted to have a good bid so we could have some strong prices and effective prices by having all the data that we needed. So I agreed for them to be able to do a little bit of delay on that. And other than that, I've been working with Justice Lahowski on the budget. We've had a meeting, have another meeting this week to wrap up the budgets so that we can have our meeting October the 31st with the Budget Committee with all of the departments and hopefully go through all of those in one day. So I have, Your Honor.
And Mr. Higgins, the coroner's report is there on the back end of that sheriff's report, right?
Yes, sir.
For the members in their binders and packets. Thank you for putting that together. Any questions for Mr. Higgins? Seeing none, next, the ARP/road report. Mr. Anderson.
Thank you, Your Honor. If you'll turn to page 1 of the ARP report, the big entry since the last time is at the bottom. The Faulkner County Courthouse is, that project's been closed out. The highlights of the rest, we spent a little over $100,000, but $87,750 to Mayflower Water. And that's for engineering, and they're working on easements as well. Those are the highlights of the ARP report. Any questions on the ARP? In the road report, we ended up our chip seal with these roads since last time. We will have some asphalt starting probably first of next month-ish. Rogers Group's getting off their state contracts, coming back to us then. And we plan on doing roughly 6 or 7 miles before they shut down for the year for us. Any questions for me?
Any questions for Mr. Anderson? Sure, Justice Lyon.
I guess with just under 15 months left remaining on the ARPA funds, any issues you see with any of them spending the money as needed?
No, right now I don't. We have tentatively set the end of June to make the call. Are you going to be able to spend them or not? That way we can move the funds to our catch-alls that we designed previously, and that way we'll ensure we'll spend all of our money.
Any other questions? Thank you, Mr. Anderson.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Next, we move to standing committee reports. As always, we'll start JP1, Justice Knight, Chair of the Infrastructure Committee.
Thank you, Your Honor. Yeah, Infrastructure met last month, or last week, and we had from Mr. Anderson regarding the construction of the road shop. They have begun digging out the side of the hill, and I guess the highlights are that bids have went out, so I'm not sure if they've come back yet, but hopefully they will be finished early 2027 with that project. So if you have any other questions regarding the reconstruction of the road shop, I would ask Mr. Anderson.
Thank you so much. Next committee would be Courts and Public Safety. Justice Coates.
Thank you, Your Honor. Courts and Public Safety did not meet this last month.
Moving right along, Justice Lahowski, Budget.
Thank you, Judge. Budget met last week, both Tuesday, to pass the ordinances you see on your agenda tonight, and then we met Thursday to discuss some of the grants and aid budget categories. Also, like Administrator Higgins said, prepare yourselves for October 31st. If you're not on Budget and Finance, we'd still love to have you come participate if you can, be a part of it. It's a great time. All the budgets and everything, I'm meeting with Randy again Friday this week to hopefully get all, we're still not got them all in and together yet. And so my goal is to hopefully Friday maybe, or maybe Monday or sometime, get them posted on the website for everyone to see the budgets, to see what's out there, to see what the elected officials have submitted. So y'all can kind of get your hands on those before time to meet and discuss them and everything. Just a small preview. Overall, I don't see any large increases or anything like that. There's nothing concerning that sticks out from what we've reviewed so far. So that's my update. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Justice Hosky. And lastly, the Personnel Committee, Justice Kendry.
Judge, Personnel met last week. We forwarded several resolutions to Budget and Finance for consideration in the budget process, and we also have a board nomination that was forwarded for tonight. That's all I've got. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next, we have public comments. Any comments from the public on any item before the court tonight? Seeing none. Special reports. All right, so tonight, we do have a proclamation. I think we have Ms. Terry Blake here. She's representing Stop DV. We typically are honored to allow Stop DV to use the front steps of the courthouse. They have a very meaningful day and event, but this year they were unable to due to a number of factors. I think weather was the primary factor. And they asked us, hey, could we just do the proclamation, the reading of the proclamation in Quorum Court? And we thought that was very appropriate, and especially since we live stream and our audience is bigger. So if you'll indulge me, I want to read this proclamation and deliver that to Ms. Blake. Excuse me, Ms. Baker. I keep saying Terry Blake, so I apologize, Ms. Baker. Domestic Violence Awareness Month proclamation. October 2025, whereas 1 in every 3 women will experience domestic violence during her lifetime, and 1 in 6 men have had abusive experiences in their lifetime, whereas approximately 15.5 million children are exposed to domestic violence each year. When a family member is abused, it can have long-term damaging effects on the victim that also leave a mark on family, friends, and the community at large, whereas families are indispensable to a stable society, and they should be a place of support to instill responsibility and values in the next generation. Whereas the problem of domestic violence is not confined to any group or groups of people, but crosses all economic, racial, gender, educational, religious, and societal barriers, and are sustained by societal indifference. Whereas the crime of domestic violence violates an individual's privacy, dignity, security, and humanity due to the systematic use of physical, emotional, sexual, psychological, and economic control and/or abuse. Whereas victims should have help to find the compassion, comfort, and healing they need, and abusers should be punished to the full extent of the law. Whereas victims of violence should have access to medical and legal services, counseling, and emergency and transitional housing, and other supportive services so that they can safely escape the cycle of abuse. Whereas we encourage domestic violence victims and their families to seek assistance from appropriate victim services organizations, such as Stop DV. Whereas it's important to recognize the compassion and dedication of the individuals who provide services to victims of domestic abuse and work to increase public understanding of this significant problem. Whereas we dedicate ourselves to protecting vulnerable members of our community, and whereas Faulkner County has a moral obligation to work to prevent domestic violence, address its brutal and destructive effects, and make ending domestic violence a local priority. Now therefore, I, Alan Dodson, County Judge of Faulkner County, Arkansas, do hereby proclaim October 2025 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month and urge all citizens to actively support and work towards the elimination of domestic violence in our cities and communities in Faulkner County. Thank you, and I'll present this to you now. You may approach, or else I'll walk all the way around. Randy, did you want to do a picture?
No, Your Honor, but I would like to ask your indulgence for just a moment after you present Ms. Baker with...
Actually, let's get a picture. I'll walk around.
I'd be glad to do that.
Thank the court for its patience. Tell us when
And Your Honor, if I'm going to have to indulge for just a moment, but if you guys would hang tight for just a second, but as a past board member of Stop DV, one of the things that they do is they recognize the Lewis First Award on an annual basis, and Louise First was an advocate for domestic violence in Faulkner County, a long time in our courts, did a fantastic job. She passed away a few years ago, but Stop DV honors Ms. First by presenting a domestic violence award each year to those who are advocates. So we have an award that we'd like to give this year, the 7th Annual Louise First Award, presented to County Judge Alan Dodson for his continuing efforts to combat domestic violence in Faulkner County 2025. So congratulations, Your Honor. If we can get another picture. Thank you, Your Honor.
People got some answers to give. Pulled that off, and I had no idea. This is wonderful. You know, means a lot to me. I've been touched, as I guess most of you have been touched, by domestic violence in some form or fashion. Certainly, former sheriff would have seen a lot of that. But Sheriff, you would agree, former sheriff, you would agree, it touches everyone. And it's terrible. And it's, you know, that proclamation spoke of the cycle of violence that's so difficult for a victim of domestic abuse to wrench themselves away from. I've seen it firsthand with family and friends. You know, I've got a big family, so I've seen it. And it's just terrible. I appreciate all the efforts of Stop DV. Randy, I know that you're very well connected with that organization, serving as a board member, and I think a past board member now, is that right? I want to thank you for your efforts and that of the other board members. I want to thank all the staff there at Stop DV and all who support that. So thank you. Thank you all. Let's give them a round of applause. And I will cherish this. It will be in my office tomorrow on the wall. Thank you all for your patience there, and I appreciate that as I try to keep myself composed. Next, we have old business. Is there any item of old business to come before the court that I'm aware of? Seeing none, next we move to new business, and as Budget Chairman Lahosky mentioned, there are three ordinances. Tab number 3 will be the first one. Proposed ordinance 25-28. What is your pleasure?
Judge, a motion for the passage of proposed ordinance 25-28.
Second.
Okay, motion and second. Can we have a reading, please?
Proposed ordinance 25-28 being enacted by the Quorum Court, County of Faulkner, State of Arkansas, an ordinance to be entitled an appropriation ordinance to amend and supplement Faulkner County Ordinance 24-52 dated November 20th, 2024, and to declare an emergency.
Okay, motion second and reading. Chairman Lahosky, you want to give us just an overview of what this is doing?
Yes, Judge. Court, I wasn't here during our Budget and Finance Committee that we passed this ordinance, so I don't know if I can provide a good overview, like Judge mentioned. I may defer to one of my other Budget and Finance Committee members if they have a more detailed.
Justice Moss?
Go right ahead, Justice.
Most of this in here looks pretty typical. I said that there's only a couple of sections that stick out to me, and I was just actually going to ask Judge or Tom, whichever one of y'all want to answer, just about sections 6 and 8, just to tell us what's going on.
Yes, so I'll defer to Tom Anderson, but the $100,000 transferred to County Road is just, you'll see us do this toward the end of every year. Tom, if you want to pick it up from there.
Sure, thank you, Your Honor. Section 6 is for the construction of the building. We'll have some professional fees that are coming due, so I moved those into that line item. Section 7, that's for part-time to get us to the end of the year. Just moving money around for that.
And 8, what about 8?
8.
Sorry.
8 is for beginning of the dirt work for the foundation itself.
Thank you. Thank you, Judge.
Very good.
Yes, sir.
Other questions? This will be the monthly appropriation. Seeing none, can we have a roll call vote, please?
Yes, Your Honor. Allison.
Yes.
Coates.
Yes.
Kendricks.
Yes.
Knight. Lahosky.
Yes.
Lyon.
Yes.
Meeks.
Yes.
Moss.
Yes.
Shock.
Yes.
Strain. Tyler. Yorgie. Yes.
All right, motion carries and the ordinance passes. Next, tab number 5, we have proposed ordinance 25-29. What is your pleasure?
Motion for the passage of proposed ordinance 25-29.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. We have a reading, please.
Proposed ordinance 25-29 be enacted by the Quorum Court, County of Faulkner, State of Arkansas, and the ordinance be entitled, an appropriation ordinance to amend and supplement Faulkner County Ordinance 24-52 as a one-time pay increase of $400 for all full-time employees and $200 for part-time employees to be paid with a payroll date of November 21st, 2025, and to declare an emergency.
Thank you, and I'll start with you, Justice
Yeah,
Hlasky.
I do know more about these next two, so thank you. Justice, this is our typical one-time pay increase that we pass every year. I believe last year we increased that amount. It had been at the same amount for years and years and years and years and years. So last year we increased it for the first time in a while. And so this is what this is. As you will notice, as we kind of talked through this last time, the mechanics of these ordinances, after you see the number, the first dollar amount, then you'll say is transferred. So that's an easy way to say no new money here. This money was already appropriated. It was already in these budgets. It's just being transferred to in places that might not have been utilized this year and transferred into these line items so we can give them the one-time pay increase.
Very good.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, motion, second reading, explanation. Are there any questions or discussion? Justice Yorgie?
Yeah, I just have a question about sections 8, 10, 12, 13, 14. That list transfers only to the full-time category and not all the other, the social security and the retirement. I wondered if.
That's because their other funds have sufficient money in there and it's not needed.
Thank you.
Further questions? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Yes, Your Honor. Allison.
Yes.
Coates.
Yes.
Kendricks.
Yes.
Knight.
Yes.
Lahosky.
Yes.
Lyon.
Yes.
Meeks.
Yes.
Moss. Shock.
Yes.
Strain.
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes.
Yorgie.
Yes.
All right, motion carries, ordinance passes. Tab number 5, proposed ordinance 25-30, one-time pay increase, 27th payroll. What is your pleasure?
Judge, I motion for the passage of proposed ordinance 25-30.
Second.
Okay, motion, second reading, please.
Proposed ordinance 25-30 be enacted by the Quorum Court, County of Faulkner, State of Arkansas, and the ordinance to be entitled an appropriation ordinance to amend and supplement Faulkner County Ordinance 24-52 as a one-time pay increase for the 27th payroll for all employees to be paid on payroll date of December 31st and to declare an emergency.
This is the last one. You have the top number for this.
Thank you for the reading.
You gave it to me.
I didn't
Okay, that's
bring it. The total was $868.
sorry.
All right, so we've had a motion, second, and a reading, and Chairman Lahosky, I'll
Thank you.
defer to you. I'll be happy to expand on it or
Yeah,
whatever.
I'll just do a little overview, and I'm going to kick it to the professionals here. Sorry, y'all heard my whispering to Margaret over here. The last ordinance, I meant to say this, and I forgot to. That one-time pay increase totaled somewhere 100,000 and some change is where that came at. I've got that number written down on a piece of paper somewhere. 868,000 and some change is what that last one came up to. This one, I think we've discussed it before, but I'm not sure if it was in committee or in court as a whole. We come into a unique situation next year where we have 27 pay periods, right? Typically you have 26. We come into a situation because of a pay date falls on January 1st where we have 27 pay periods. after discussion amongst the elected officials, the best course of action, because at the end of the day, we did not want to decrease the amount of money that an employee receives on their paycheck, right? Even if that check is smaller next year by $40 a check, right? That can be a big impact to some families. So the discussion was, do we pay out this extra payroll, and do we do it in the year 2025? That way it doesn't impact the budgeting of next year's budget and what that looks like, and confuse a bunch of stuff there. So basically, what this is issuing a payroll at one chunk, and the total of this was 800 something, 868. When you put these two together, you're knocking on $1 million, if you're not already past $1 million, and so it's pretty big implications, but it is, I mean, it's a pretty big number, but we're thankful to be in a financial situation to be able to do that as a county. I think I'll close my summary and let the professionals do the more explaining. They've looked at this more than I have.
Well, I'm not a professional, but I think probably the way to look at it is we pay every 2 weeks. That means there is a payday every 2 weeks. That's the end of a period, so it's a payday. That doesn't line up with a calendar year, which is 365 or 366 in leap years, 365 and a quarter in every year. That means if you're going to do something every 14th day, then every 11 years, that's going to roll over into the next calendar year. So we're not asking you to pay our employees any more than they're already making, than the salaries you've assigned to those categories and those positions and those people. Really what this is there are 27, every 11 years, there are 27 paid days that occur in a single calendar year. Okay, so that's question number one, is how do we address that? We could, for our employees, reduce their pay by, a 27th every pay period along the way for, I guess a year and catch back up, or you could do it every 11 years or through 11-year period or something like that. But that hadn't been done. Where we're at right now is that we don't have that 27th pay day budgeted in a given calendar year or budget year for us. That payday is going to be January 1st, okay, which would be next budget year. We recommend, and I think it was a great idea by Margaret Darter, County Clerk, is, hey, why don't we do that in this budget year? Because we know you're going to budget for a raise some amount, and the amount that we approximate inflation to be. There'll probably be a few positions added through the year next year. That's going to make that amount go up. Let's do it now and this year, budget that this year while we have it, and it'll be cheaper. I forget the amount Margaret calculated it. I apologize, I don't have that worksheet you put together for that. But if you agree from a policy standpoint that, hey, we need to not stiff our employees, it's not their fault. It's also pay occurring every 2 weeks rather than twice per month for very good mechanical payroll reasons. The groups of employees that we have that calculate the number of hours they work and the pay they get for that, primarily, your law enforcement people, which is the biggest group of employment we have. For good reasons, we pay every 2 weeks rather than twice a month. Well, we've got to address that now. It's been 11 years in the making. Myself, other elected officials recommend that you move the payday from January 1st, or authorize the transfer of that pay date from January 1st to December 31st, and let's pay that and own that in this budget year. After having done that, we recommend also, hey, let's don't wait 11 years, whoever's here in 11 years, to make that, because they may not be in a position where they can come up with that and make all that 11 years up in a given budget year or pay cycle. We recommend setting aside 1/11th of a pay period, of one pay period aside every year. So it'd be one pay cycle, 1/11th of that, set aside in every budget year. So as you approach finalizing next year's budget, we recommend that you set aside the amount that it would take every year for 11 years to make up for that one pay cycle. So it's 1/11th of one pay cycle that you would budget for and set aside each additional year. So the first year you'd set aside 1/11th. The next year, depending on how you handle it in the budget, you either don't touch it, just know Mr. Sampson has got the money tucked away somewhere. I'm joking there. Or you could set aside 2/11ths the next year and accumulate that year over year and just not touch that. Certainly, if you got in a bind budget-wise at any point, you or your successors, you could dip into that and it'd be some sort of rainy day fund. Wouldn't be a huge amount. In 11 years, it'll add up to the equivalent of $800,000 a day. It's not going to save the county from a $20 million shortfall or something like that, but it would be there. And I believe that to be a good use of public funds and appropriately cautious with those funds. So anyway, having said that, Margaret, did you have anything else to add?
I think you covered it, thank you.
That can be a really confusing, if you go down that rabbit hole trying to wrap your way, and I worked today to try to find a way to explain that. And it's really not 27 pay periods in this month, in this year. It's just that 27 of those pay days that happen every 2 weeks will occur in one calendar year. It's the payday itself that there's going to be 27 of, and that just happens to be when we pay our employees. So that'll be in keeping with the amount of money that they make. They get paid every 2 weeks. That'll continue. Is that fair?
That's great. They don't get any additional money, it's just they continue as they go,
Yeah.
as they are.
Hopefully that's clear. But at this point, are there any questions? Does that make sense? Are there any questions? And so the second piece of that, setting aside 1/11th, you could deliberate that through the budget process. That's what I recommend, and all of our elected officials I talked to would agree with that. Certainly Budget Chair Lahowski, County Clerk Darter, she agrees with that, and I agree with that. So anyway, that would not be something you would address tonight, but you would take that up during the budget process. And some future quorum court's going to appreciate you guys for doing that, if you do that. All right, any questions or comments? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Yes, Your Honor. Allison. Coates.
Yes.
Kendricks.
Yes.
Knight.
Yes.
Lahosky. Lyon.
Yes.
Meeks.
Yes.
Moss.
Yes.
Schock.
Yes.
Strain.
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes.
Yorgi. Yes.
All right, motion carries, ordinance passes. And next on our agenda is appointments, and tonight we do have one for the Saltillo Fire District Board. That resume and application for that appointment are in your packet. I do not see her here. I got word that she was going to be here, but that's Ashley Montgomery. I was impressed in looking through that resume and application, and I'm always, just thankful and pleased that people will serve in these volunteer positions in the boards of all kind that we appoint here. And anyway, I've made that appointment. I would ask that you affirm that appointment.
Judge, motion to affirm the appointment of Ashley Montgomery to the Saltillo Volunteer Fire Department Board.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, congratulations to Ms. Montgomery if you're watching. We just thank you for being willing to serve. And if you see her, you get a chance to see her and meet her, tell her thank you for serving. Next on our agenda, we have announcements. Are there any announcements? Ms. Yorgi, sorry, Justice Yorgi, I didn't see you.
Yeah. So I put a flyer on each of your packets today. That Arkansas Asset Builders, in partnership with the Faulkner County Library and the Arkansas Student Loan Association are conducting a FAFSA Help Day on Saturday this week. We will have financial aid professionals from Hendricks, UCA, as well as ASLA there to provide free one-on-one guidance filling out the FAFSA. So I encourage all of you to promote this event in your districts, especially if you have connections with high schools, principals, guidance counselors in your district. That's the obvious group we're trying to reach, but this would apply to anyone who is thinking about going back to school in 2026-27 school year and needs to fill out the FAFSA.
Thanks so much. Appreciate you doing that. And that, I looked over that and that's well put together, first of all, but it's so necessary. If you know anybody that's racked up a bunch of that, yeah. All right. Any other announcements? All right. Do we have a motion to adjourn? We have a second. We are adjourned. Congratulations on your new